Tamara Alrifai is Director of External Relations and Communications at the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East. She's joining us live from Amman, Jordan. Tamara, thanks so much for being here. I'll get straight into this. This isn't even the first time this year that we've been counting down to the end of this crisis. But does this time feel different to you and your team?
We hope that this time will be different, and we hope that the agreement reached last week will transform into a permanent ceasefire. This is what we've always called for, a ceasefire, along with the release and safe return of the hostages and the opening up of crossing points in the face of food and other urgent supplies to the UN, to big aid organizations, given the large scale of destruction and suffering that people in Gaza have endured for now almost 2 years.
On that, can you just give us a sense of the current humanitarian situation that does exist in Gaza and what the most urgent needs are for civilians right now?
The most urgent need is a sense of safety, because nowhere has been safe in Gaza for 2 years, given the continuous bombardment, the continuous fighting, and mostly the continuous forced displacement en masse of Palestinians in Gaza. Second is food. A famine was declared on the 22nd of August in Gaza City and was said to be spreading to other parts of the Strip. Third is the continuation of medical consultations and medical services, and children. The psychological status, the anxiety of children, and the fact that they've been off schools for now 2 years. All these are priorities, but I'm going to tell you that UNRWA has been responding to all of them. We have not stopped working. We've been and continue to be the largest aid agency. And even inside our shelters that are routinely hit, by the way, during the fighting, we continue to give basic learning to children and basic psychological support.
That's incredible to hear, especially looking at the pictures that are just alongside you while you're talking there. It just looks like an absolutely horrific situation. When it does come down to humanitarian aid, the current ceasefire plan calls for a return to the terms of an earlier agreement back in January. Was the flow of aid at that time enough to meet Gaza's needs, or does this new agreement need to go further, do you think?
The minimal number of truckloads of food and other medical and urgent supplies, including hygiene kits for women, by the way, because we often forget the special needs of women. The minimal is 500 to 600 trucks per day. So describing this as sufficient is inaccurate. This is really the minimal. And this was, as you said, this was at the time of the previous agreement. With the scale of destruction, with the scale of dispossession, with everything that people have lost, and also with the malnutrition rates, 1 in 3 children today is considered malnourished, meaning they go on for 1 full day without food. Even these minimums now need to be bumped up. And this is what UNRWA, the largest aid agency, has been calling for: the full opening of border crossing. The conditioning of aid over political agreement is unacceptable. It's called weaponizing humanitarian assistance. So we do hope that with this agreement, there's no more weaponizing of food and conditioning people's access to food and to safety on political agreements.
I just want to talk about what happens if this deal doesn't go ahead. Do you have a backup plan in place to deal with everything that could potentially happen next? Because the threats that we've been seeing have been pretty extreme.
The threats have been extreme. The consequences of this conflict have been extreme on nearly 2 million people in Gaza. Most of them have been displaced several times, losing loved ones, possessions, and even hope with every displacement. There is no plan B to a full ceasefire. There's no plan B to the release and safe return of hostages, and no plan B to the resumption of full-fledged humanitarian work in Gaza that should lead to a resumption of safety, of life, of people going back even to their destroyed homes and hoping to build them. For us, for UNRWA, for the largest aid agency, the priority is the resumption of education for over 660,000 children who are traumatized in Gaza today.
It does almost seem like an impossible task, but thank you to your teams for actually doing the work you're doing on the ground there. Tamara, Alrifai, and Aman Jordan, thank you. Speak to you again soon.